Hi, this is Peter with Making Sales Simple, and I wanted to personally invite you to the Shed Sales Summit this September in Knoxville, Tennessee. First of all, we're going to have some speakers come in that are motivational, but also knowledge driven. So one of the things they're going to teach you is about marketing. And as we look around in this shed industry, there's all kinds of people talking about marketing, but this guy has a proven track record. Steve Robinson will be joining us in Knoxville, Tennessee. You do not want to miss him. He is known for creating the Cows campaign for the Chick-fil-A brand, and he will be speaking to us. Make sure you get your tickets at shedsalessummit.com. You won't want to miss it this September in Knoxville.
Hello and welcome back to the Simply Shed Talk Live, where we come to you live from the shed industry. Really quickly, if you're watching this live or maybe afterwards, if you go to the Simply Shed Talk Facebook group or YouTube, join the group and turn on the notifications. You will be notified when this goes live. We also stream this to all of the other platforms as well. If you want to ask a question, join the conversation, advertise your brand, whatever, everybody is welcome. Just click that link. It'll bring you right on stage here. Or you can comment on this. We will see the comments live, or we'll respond to them after it goes on the over the internet. So without further ado, of course, I'm your host, Andrew Boyle, also along with
Peter Miller, and I am, as you would ask, I'm from a different location, it seems like every time, but I am coming from the lovely state of South Carolina today. And it is 103 degrees is what my truck says at the moment. And I feel like I'm more like in Florida at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hot down here, and we have the love bug, so do not come to Florida. But today's show, we're going to probably be a little shorter show, but we wanted to get on here and answer some questions that have been asked. But also, we have been getting a lot of more new viewers that are first time watching the show the last couple of times. So I'm going to take a little second to introduce myself, and then Peter, I'll turn it over. You can introduce yourself for all of the new viewers that may be new to the channel or new to us. But started off in the shed industry in 2014 with my very first lot. Since then, we've gotten a lot more involved in the shed industry. I was the co-founder of Making Sales Simple several years ago. Also, the Shed Sales Summit. And currently, kind of my role in the shed industry is I own and operate an RTO company. It's kind of my day-to-day. And then, of course, we're on the Simply Shed Talk show with you guys every week. But Peter, introduce yourself for those who might not know you. I think a lot of people probably know Peter, but just in case they don't.
If you don't, maybe it's a blessing for you. But hey, if you know me and you like me, thank you. Appreciate the friendship. My name is Peter Miller. I own and operate 5 different shed lots across Florida and Georgia. I also am a co-founder of Making Sales Simple and the Shed Sales Summit. We have worked, well, I would say since 2023 with sales training with Making Sales Simple, trying to bring basic information and some higher information, not just basic, but diving a little bit deeper into sales training with Making Sales Simple. That kind of slingshot us into Shed Sales Summit because we looked at and saw the need for sales training in the industry. But my day-to-day seems to be keeping all of our lots running as efficiently as we can and making sure that we are providing the best experience for our clients and our customers each and every day, and providing a high quality product at the same time. Also, am a father of 3. My boys are getting older and growing fast. They're 5 and 6. I have twins who are 5, and my oldest is 6. And we are actually just about to be heading back home to Florida from a family vacation. So took a few minutes here, and that's why we're going to run a little bit shorter. I think I missed last week. So thank you, Andrew, for carrying the load while I was away.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot to mention that about myself, Peter. I have 8 children. My oldest is just turned 15, got her permit, and my youngest is 1 month old. But without further ado, some questions that we have gotten. And if you have a question, you can comment on here. I know sometimes it's, people are kind of nervous about maybe commenting on here in person, but you can also text me your questions at 352-440-0786, or you can email them to us as well, or message on Facebook. But Peter, the first question, I'll ask you the question because it's easier that way. But what's one sales lesson that you learned the hard way that completely changed how you sell? Kind of a hard question here.
Yeah. Just one. Well, one of them that comes to mind is, I think, being so trusting and believing what the client or the customer is saying. Like, I know we've mentioned this before, but it really stuck in my head when you mentioned that a client reaching out their hand, shaking your hand and saying, "Hey, I'm going to be back tomorrow, I'm going to bring you, XYZ, and we're going to close this deal." And early on in my career, like, I would be like, I'm taking it to the bank. Yep, I sold 5 sheds today. Well, where's the money for it? And I'd be like, oh, they're coming back tomorrow to bring me the deposit. It was it was a hard lesson. But if that customer walks out the door without giving you something, a credit card, a $50 bill, something tangible, maybe tell them I'll hold on to your driver's license until you come back. Something tangible that'll make them come back. You cannot claim that to be a sold building. And that was a lesson that I learned early. And so if somebody says, well, I'll just come back tomorrow, don't take that to the bank. Continue to try to close. Try to get something tangible from that potential client to be able to close that. That is something that I've learned, and I would pass that on to anybody who's new in the industry.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one there. I think mine would be is selling out of my own pocket. Back when I first started sales, I was 17. I was brand new to sales. I actually dropped out of high school to do sales and delivery for my dad at the time in the furniture business. And, as a 17-year-old kid, I didn't have much money myself. So things sounded expensive to me, which to the average person probably weren't. But either way, selling out of your own pocket is very bad. And I learned that pretty quickly. Is don't tell the customers or try to show them the cheaper stuff because you can't afford the expensive stuff. Just like today, actually, I was at the store. I got my iPhone wet and had a crack in it, and it broke. And I went to the Verizon store today, and I had already known what I had to pay because I had I had my device paid off. So I knew what I already looked online, and it literally took him 5 minutes to tell me that I had to pay $600. He kept, and this is I don't see this very often, and I was like, I knew what he was going to say, and he's like, you're going to pay. I'm like, okay, I'll pay it. He's like, oh, okay. Like, I have to have a phone. Like, I've already missed 50 phone calls. So
Right.
Selling out of your own pocket is the biggest thing that I see new salespeople, including myself, make those mistakes. All right, we got a couple more on here, Peter. Let me real quick. Let me try to. There was one that I was going to ask you next. I think his one kind of goes along with that first question, Peter. But
Okay.
Somebody said here, what's the biggest mistake salespeople make when a customer says, "I need to think about it"?
Yeah, it ties right back along into it.
I was going to say,
well,
believe them. That's the worst thing.
well, maybe you need to refer that back to a question of what do you need to think about? Because they're saying I need to think about it because they don't want to give an answer to that right now, and so it's an objection that's just shielded as I want to think about it. And like, oh yeah, well, some people need to think about it. Okay, but really, do they need to think about it? They've been thinking about a shed. They've if you've done your actual job and found out how long they've been looking for it, maybe the baby's crib is sitting in the garage and they can't park their vehicle in there, and you've done all these digging questions to find out what the reason was, and for them to just to come in, go through all the whole process, and then say, I want to think about it. That's where it gets back to, you got to start asking questions of why. And this is where, like you said, that guy with you in the phone store didn't want to tell you $600, because what it does is it's confrontation. Don't become confrontational in the fact where you're like, well, why aren't you going to buy? Like, how dare you not buy today? That's going to turn them off. They're going to walk out the door, mad at you, and would give you a 1-star review and say, never shop at that place again. But if you come about it in a different manner, you just be like, Mr. Customer, I know you said you had that crib in the garage and you can't park your car in there. We went through it. I know sometimes pricing can be a problem. I just got a call from one of our manufacturers today, and prices are starting to go up again. And we all feel that. Is it maybe something with the payment? Is there a better payment option that would work for you if we could get that payment a little lower? Oh, no, it's not that. Okay, all right. So we're looking at the payment. All right, what about the product? We looked at that 10 by 12, and you said it would carry, fit everything. Now we're looking at the product. We're taking our time going through that aspect of it. Your payment product. If they still say no, well, I know this is a really hard one, but I've been trying to be as helpful as possible. Is there something maybe I did wrong that I unknowingly did? A lot of times they're not going to be like, yeah, you looked at me the wrong way. You look like an old friend of mine that did me wrong or whatever. They're not going to necessarily that, but you can kind of start piecing through that. And then if they say, no, I don't want to, well, what do you came in here looking for something. So let's get to the brass tacks of it and just ask them, what is it going to take to get you a building? Oh, well, I just need to think about it. Okay. If you've gone all that route around there and you still haven't got the answer, you maybe you need to have somebody else work with you on that, but don't just give up on it. You want to find a way to keep on that conversation. If that means later that day, if that means the next day, don't give up on that sale just because they say they want to give up or they want to think about it. There's so many times that I see people say, yeah, they want to think about it. And honestly, the salesperson doesn't even write the name down, doesn't even follow up with them. And that customer's going to walk away and they're not coming back for the most part. You may get lucky and maybe they will come back. But if you're not a diligent salesperson doing all the things that you need to be doing, you're gonna lose a lot of those sales.
Okay. So a follow up to that. This is from the same email here. It says, what's the biggest sales myth people still believe today?
Okay. Sales myth.
Yeah. So I
Are
guess
we talking?
I'm guessing I'm just reading you what I see. So I'm guessing that is maybe that salespeople. Let's go with that salespeople. I think that's what they're saying. And what I would say that is the biggest myth is bad economy, bad sale, bad month, is because you'll go from shed lot to shed lot. And I know we've been together, me and you, Peter, been to dozens and dozens of them. And this shed lot will be like, oh, the economy's bad. It's just so terrible. Sales are bad. And then you go 20 minutes down the road and it's like, this is awesome. Sales are up. We just, sold 4 sheds yesterday. And I think that's that mindset that when you begin to, I'm not saying economy doesn't get bad. I'm not saying that things don't slow down, but when things slow down, it's how do you, overcome that? How do you,
right. Yeah.
How do you, what do you do?
I guess that's the thing. All right. So digging a little bit, and you saying how that myth is. Yeah. What excuse does a salesperson use why he's not selling? I mean, that would be my English, my dumbed down version of what the question, I guess, would have been. What is the main reason? Oh, I think there's several myths. Economy. I think some people would say, "Well, I don't have enough product. I can't sell without product here on the lot." Um, they may say, "Oh, well, I didn't get proper training. I didn't get proper training. How am I supposed to sell if I don't have proper training?" You want
Peter,
to train your people.
Peter, is this question personal? You feel like you're taking this personal? Like,
Well,
come on,
I've
just
gotta,
let it all out there.
I've got to have personal experiences, with this, and that's kind of like whatever I want people to call in and have their personal experiences. Uh, yeah, people use all these different excuses and things like that. I think you're going to go back to the basics. You're going to have cycles in sales. You're going to have ups and downs. Excuse me. You're not going to have even keel. And so, what I would say is you got to have a good group of people around you that will keep you accountable when it comes to sales, because it's easy. All right, I'm no one to speak right here, but it is hard for me to stay on a good diet at the time being. Like, I know this is like going personal here, but I was 40 something pounds lighter than what I am now just a couple of years ago. I felt great, and it takes personal discipline to not take the Coke from Sonic and drink it. But it also is relatable back to, the sales side of things. All right, so I'm talking about something that's food wise. I could drink water. Yep, it would be a lot healthier for me. Does it taste as good? No, not really. But it's better for me. It's healthier. I feel better in the long run. You can go through those different things. Same thing in sales. It's easy to just be like, they'll be back. The economy's bad. That's easy. That's just like that's taking the Coca-Cola or the Snickers bar or something. That's easy. What's not easy is to say, what am I not doing that I need to be doing? And what is it that I can do differently to bring more sales in? I've had conversations with some of our employees and they're like, I just don't get it. Like we had nobody here. Like, all right, if they didn't show up today, what did you do all day while you were waiting for people to show up? That's the hard thing. That's the thing. It's easy to hop on your phone, scroll through, and just veg on internet. Whether that's YouTube, whether that's Facebook, whether that's whatever, games, Candy Crush. I know that's your favorite. Those are the easy things to do. But what's the difficult thing to do is then start going through and maybe writing letters to people that have already bought from you. Maybe you have a journal of people that have bought from you, and you can send out, hey, Mrs. Smith, I know you bought your 10 by 16 lofted cabin last year. Hope that it's worked out really well for you. Memorial Day is coming up. We would love to be able to help you guys with any other storage needs. We sell carports. There's all these great opportunities that you can get. And that is what is hard to do. That's the getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and doing the exercise or things like that. That is what is hard to do. And I honestly, I can't remember what your original question. I think it was, what is the I was starting to remember. It was basically, what is the excuse people use? You can have all kinds of excuses. I'm going to call you out right here and say, stop the excuses and start selling. Figure out what it is that you need to do to start selling again. If you want help, makingsalessimple.com. I'm sorry, makingsalessimple.org. I need to put that out there. Makingsalessimple.org is a great place to start. We offer shed-specific sales training. I know that's a little toot of my own horn there, but it's a great place to start. It's a month-to-month thing. If it works for you, great. If you find somebody else, I was talking to a guy just the other day. He's using another training program. I think it's Jeremy Miner, which I'm like, I know that guy. He's on Facebook all the time. Use somebody who's going to help you be able to be a better salesperson. Whether that's Making Sales Simple, whether that's Jeremy Miner, whether that's Grant Cardone, whether that's Andy Elliott, whoever it may be, use somebody and get yourself out of the rut that you're in and start selling like you're supposed to be selling.
Yeah. For those who have ever seen Andy Elliott, Peter, you want to start using him? Take a shirt
Negative.
off. Take a shirt off.
No. I've
Inside
only
joke for Andy Elliott. If you've seen his training, he makes the people take their shirts off. Peter, how do you feel about your body right now?
Well, that's why I'm wearing 2 shirts right now.
As Andy Elliott would say. Okay, Peter, last question that we got. A last question. And if you have a question, feel free to comment it on here. We can always get to it next show. But how do you create urgency without sounding pushy? Oh, man, it's one of my favorite words, pushy. Big excuse word. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was literally going to say that. Like, are we going back to the excuses at that point? Because, oh, well, why didn't you close them? Oh, I didn't want to be too pushy. Okay,
Right.
Define. Who is defining what is pushy? They're there for a reason, to be able to buy a shed from you or buy a carport or a steel building. Your job as a salesperson is technically to be like, here is the product that we offer. Be confident in your product. Know your product inside and out, but don't get to the point where you're like, I'm going to use the word, I didn't want to do anything more because it just would have been too pushy. That's my simple quick. You carry on what you would go with.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, that is, now there is such a thing as being pushy. So I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but typically when you hear that from a salesperson, it is excuse driven of why they couldn't close somebody. I've trained hundreds of salespeople in my time. At one point, I had 150 salespeople just working for me, and that was the number one thing on a typically an underperforming salesperson. I would go and be like, "Hey, why are you not out there helping with that customer?" And I don't want to be pushy. They said not to be pushy. Like, customers, I've never heard a customer say that. Tell me directly. Don't be pushy.
Right.
As Rob Ball would say, who spoke at our Shed Sales Summit before, is customers are liars, but they're not actors. The customers will lie to you. They're going to say, I don't need help. They're going to say, I'm just looking. They're going to say, I want a minute. But they're not actors. But they're not there just to wonder what a shed is. They are,
right.
They're not actors. They're not pretending. I mean, unless you have like your competitor shopping you, once in a blue moon. They're not actors, but they are liars. Yeah. Go ahead.
I've got something to put on that. You said, customer says, I just want to look. I had that. I was in one of my lots, just one of my lots. And the salesperson walked out to greet somebody. And I walked out maybe a minute later, and the salesperson was standing there. He said, like, okay, what's going on? I see the the customer down there. Oh, they said I hate it. I don't. These people didn't want any help. Okay. And so I started walking down towards the customers, and you know what I did? I started filling in a little hole on the floor there, and I just kind of eased my way over to the customer. I started asking questions. I didn't ask, do you want help? Whatever. I just started answering like, is this the right shed for you? And they started in, oh, well, we're looking at this one and we're looking at that one. It took about a minute, and my salesperson started walking down there too. And I said, I kind of transitioned over and I handed it over to them, and he took it and went on from there. But that's what I guess I'm getting at. It's like, if somebody says, I just want to look by myself, you can respectfully say, okay, I understand. Well, I'll be around if you need anything. Don't just sit back and sit in your office and wait for them to come back to you, because they're not going to.
Right.
Wait for that 15, 30 seconds where they go and they start looking inside of a shed, and just kind of meander over there. You don't have to be right in their business and anything, but you kind of make yourself available to them. That is what you need to be doing on your shed lot. Is don't just go sit back in your office and be like, well, they said they'll come in and talk to me if they want any help. They're lying. They want your help. They just don't want, they want you to be like, they want you to kiss up to them, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, guys, we really appreciate the questions, the emails. Remember, you can email them to me. You can text them to me. Get them into us. Also, if you'd like to be on the show or advertise your business, reach out to us, schedule a time, or click the link. But we would love to have you guys on. Everybody and anybody and everybody is welcome on the show. You want to advertise your business, you want to help the shed industry, you want to get to know the shed industry. That's what this show is all about. Peter, I appreciate you joining us on your vacation. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I throw just a couple of things out there? I know we've got to wrap up here, but Shed Sales Summit is coming up. Early bird special. Like, you're going to save about $50 on an average ticket, $100 on a VIP ticket. You need to make sure you get that all taken care of before June 1, because that changes June 1. ShedSalesSummit.com. That's where you're going to want to go to be able to get your tickets. You can book your hotel. Make sure you do that before June 1 to save money. We want to see as many people as possible there. And we have some special guests that are going to be coming in a few weeks, and we'll talk about that next week.
Peter, stop talking about the Shed Sales Summit.
Sorry, guys. This is something that is golf.
I'm absolutely
everything
kidding.
I do.
Be there. Go there. Get your tickets. Message us. If you want to go and you can't afford to go, send me an email and I'll take care of you. But ShedSalesSummit.com. Don't forget to follow the Simply Shed Talk Facebook group and on YouTube and the Shed Sales Summit Facebook page as well. We will stream there all these shows as well. We will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye, guys.